Harrow. It's working man's fare. Bread, cheese, pickle, and a scrap of salad. I prefer something that's been hunted for hours across a soggy Scottish moor, but each to his own. I'm sure the Professor would prefer his lunch without pieces bitten out of it.
Oh, thank you. I'm going to enjoy this. Righty-ho. I've got everything I need now, so I'd better be off. Full moon, you see. If it wanes, there'll be less to land on. Might miss. Thank you for your help, young man. Be seeing you.
Wait a minute, I thought you said we could go with you.
Oh, did I? I'm sorry. You know, I'd love to have you on board, but I'm afraid I've had second thoughts about taking non-scientific personnel with me. I'd never get insurance.
But you can't just leave me behind, not after all I've done for you.
Why do you feel you have to accompany me?
You'd get into too much trouble by yourself.
Nonsense, lad. I'm perfectly able to take care of myself.
I want to collect moonbeams in a jar.
You can do that from down here on Earth. Go up to Parliament Hill on a clear night. That's my advice.
I want to claim the moon on behalf of the British Empire.
Oh, you can't do that. The moon belongs to everybody, as do all of Mother Nature's wonders. And besides, I want the exploitation rights for myself.
I'm doing scientific research of my own.
Really? What research is that?
I want to see what happens when one's manservant throws up in zero gravity.
Not in my nice shiny new rocket, you don't.
I want to research alien life forms.
There's no such thing as alien life forms. Everyone knows that.
I want to research the view from the moon.
What's so interesting about the view from up there?
I want to look down on people. I've looked down on them all my life. So where better to do so than from the moon, eh, Professor?
Snobbery has no place in space exploration, my boy.
I want to research the view from the moon.
What's so interesting about the view from up there?
I want to look at the stars.
You can do that from down here. That's no reason to go to the moon.
I want to research the view from the moon.
What's so interesting about the view from up there?
I want to look at the Earth from the moon.
Why would you want to look at the Earth from so far away?
I'm looking for a specific geographic structure not shown on any maps.
Really? How fascinating. What equipment are you bringing?
I've got a camera.
You'll need some flash powder then, or the photograph won't come out. Come back when you've got it.
This box of Old Faithful snuff powder is one of the strongest available, second only to gunpowder in terms of potency. I think it's designed to be taken through the nose, actually. This is a well-blended but industrial-strength whiskey. A gentleman never pours his own drink. My goodness, this would make a potent explosive substance unless I'm very much mistaken. Not enough to open a safe, but it might be useful as flash powder for a camera. What will I need for my research again, Professor?
You've got everything you need for the trip. Now hurry along and board the rocket. I'd like to be home by tea time, you know. Right, everyone on board. I'm logging liftoff time at 13 minutes past 1. Oh, I hope that's not a bad omen. Of course not, Professor. It's the hour that makes it unlucky, and it's 1 o'clock, not 13 o'clock, so we're okay.
It looks like the Professor has modified a steam engine to create his space rocket.
Ready for takeoff. 5, 4, can I go to the toilet? 3,
Oh, Mossop, you should have gone before we left.
2, this isn't going to be a rough ride, is it? I get seasick, you know. 1. It worked! My rocket actually worked!
I have to say, I am amazed, Professor. We are thousands of miles from the Earth in a converted steam engine on our way to the moon. Quite remarkable.
The moon? Ah, yes. About that, we may actually be going to a different destination.
A different destination? What different destination?
That is, as they say, the question. What I am sure of is that we will miss the moon on this current trajectory.
But I thought you worked it all out, calculated everything. Then what went wrong?
The answer is in the mass of this vehicle and the force required to propel it. Well, I allowed for myself and one assistant on board, but we brought your manservant as well, and he's rather plump.
I might have known it was Mossop's fault. Even 20,000 miles in space, he's no earthly good. Shall I throw him out?
It's too late for that now. You see, we lifted off using the propulsion force required for a lesser mass, so therefore we will
miss the moon.
Exactly.
So we're doomed to drift in space forever.
Oh, no, certainly not. We'll plunge into the sun by tea time.
That makes me feel so much better. What can we do about it?
Nothing, I'm afraid.
Nothing? Professor, we will die if we can't change course. Is there no steering wheel or rudder?
Space rockets don't work like that, young man. They use adjustable engine output to direct them to the target. Wait a minute. That's it. We can steer the rocket to the moon using the engine.
Oh, thank goodness.
Oh, no, we can't. The trajectory has to be worked out precisely using an adding machine, and mine is back in my laboratory. It would take far too long to work out the mathematics by hand.
What about your automaton? Couldn't that work it out?
Good heavens, no. If Robert had a brain, there's no way he'd have come on this mission.
Drat. Couldn't we just guess the force needed from the engines? Steer by eye?
I suppose it's possible, but it would be trial and error. One mistake, and we're doomed.
Then that's what we've got to try.
Couldn't we calculate it using my fingers and toes, sir?
Mossop, with a limited air supply, the last thing you should do is remove your socks. Now just leave this to me. We're still in space. That has definitely not been tailored in Savile Row. It's not exactly the most fashionable item of gentleman's apparel I've ever seen, but it will be necessary if I want to go outside. This looks like it will survive in the coldest and harshest environments. I've definitely seen garden laborers using one of those. I'll need this to dig for the Professor's minerals. It's for digging with. He's quite happy eating his blessed ploughman's lunch. Excuse me, Professor. He looks terrified, poor little chap. I do hope he won't be sick. At least you haven't been sick, Mossop.
Not yet, sir, no. But I am seeing stars before my eyes whenever I look out of the porthole.
How do you feel?
I'm all right, sir. But it's a bit stuffy in here. Maybe if I opened the window.
I don't think that would be a good idea, Mossop. So, what shall we do next, Mossop?
I wouldn't like to say so. I'm sure you've a good plan as usual.
I have nothing more to say to you.
Righty-ho, sir.
I imagine the Professor used that when he was constructing this vehicle. It's for hitting things with. What fun! It's an automaton with superficial intelligence. What an ingenious contraption. Now is not the time to take control of Robert. It's very solidly attached to the structures above and below it. That's one of the metal pipes connecting the tanks together in here. I'm afraid sheer brute force will not remove that pipe. It's the pipe I removed from those big gas tank things. I hope it wasn't important. This lever regulates engine output. This lever seems to control vertical movement. This lever controls the horizontal movement of the rocket. We're still going to miss the moon. If I break the window, we're sure to be sucked out into outer space. Not that either of my two companions would fit through the porthole, of course. Seems to have aligned the levers correctly. That should hold the levers in place. We made it. No thanks to you, Professor. I just hope you can get us back.
Oh, there's no problem about that. I'll recalculate the return trajectory while you're out getting the spoils of exploration.
What spoils? Now, Professor, it's time to come clean and tell me just what you expect to find up here. What is it? Gold? Gems? Oil? Well, it must be something very valuable for you to go to all this trouble.
I suppose it's going to be impossible to keep it a secret now. The fact is, my research has led me to the conclusion that the moon is composed entirely...
Yes?
Of cheese.
Of cheese?
Yes. A variant of cheddar, I believe.
You're mad.
Oh, hardly. When I return to Earth with a rocket full of tipple cheddar, which, because of its exclusivity, I can charge £5 an ounce for at least, I'll be rich. If that's madness, then open the doors to Bedlam, 'cause I'm coming in.
It's an automaton with superficial intelligence. What an ingenious contraption. Now is not the time to take control of Robert. One small step for man, one giant leap for the cheese industry. Oh no, it's the Professor's automaton. Oh well, since Mossop doesn't have a spacesuit that fits, at least Robert can take all the risks.